What's up, people? One Up Punch here. About that time again for another video, and I'm going to be putting out this as well as Breachway when that comes out the 26th of September this week. But I want to talk about something with Sunkenland. They're doing some new things in the test branch, or the beta test branch, and I want to show off some of these things. The main thing is that they added some new islands. The one I'm currently on is like Bucket something, and it's a giant tower. The only way to get inside it is by going into the pipe that has a big door. When you press the E button, it will open and stay open forever. You can't close it. And that's how you get up the ladder to get inside the building. When you get to the very top, you'll find a green safe. Every island will have a green safe. And that's essentially the prize for defeating and killing everybody. And that will have different things like decor, blueprints, armor, weapons, or broken parts. Going down the list, they talk about the reworked electricity system, return to the fuel consumption system for better convenience and balance. The updated electricity gameplay brings more benefits to overall progression compared to previous versions, meaning they went from gas generation to the power grid back to gas generation. So if you were annoyed or you didn't play the game anymore because of the whole deal with the power grid, well, they're going to go back to the old way, which was just the generator. You don't need that stuff. Though, it does help out with like splitters and conversions of the different cables, because you do need cables to connect to the generator so that they can work. Sawmill, electrolyte furnace, or even some of the like workbenches, like the gun assembly. So without the power, you can't turn them on. But they are going to go back to the gas-operated generators. The other thing, enhanced gun customization feature. Drop gun parts directly into the gun workshop. No need to carry everything in your inventory. Meaning that if you take your gun, or you take all the gun parts you had in your inventory or inside your box, you'd be able to throw them in a like storage inside the gun assembly, and that's where all of them go. So you don't have to worry about taking them anymore, and they have it all like categorized. The other thing I'm showing you here with this small area is that this is the tower you go up to reach the weapons crate and the safe crate, or the green crate that you get. Once you get those stuff, it'll give you a chainsaw blueprint and maybe even some other parts, which is this modern box that you pick up, and they give you 2 parts every time. Back then, it used to be just a gun you'd grab, like a Mauser or a broken rifle, and you'd throw it in there and get the gun part. Now they have their own kind of thing that if you pick up a box, they'll give you 2 random attachments. They are pretty common when they drop. I get like 2 or 3 of them depending upon the island or the size of it. And when you get to the actual base and you mess around with some of the new base building things, they have this thing called the Heavy Machinery Workshop. This actually is the thing that allows you to make these other types of parts, like the supply unit, the turbocharger, and some other like control panel uses, because the control panel would be used to make the thing in the middle on the top second floor of my building, which is a robot that takes all the inventory and it sorts it out for me. So if I have copper ingots, iron ingots, or if I have a bunch of gun parts, it will find all the parts that are in my inventory throughout my entire base and put them in there automatically, so I don't have to worry about it. It's basically for people that have OCD and they don't want to deal with management so much. It's pretty useful to have. I don't remember what it took to make it. I just did a bunch of stuff and then made it that way. The other thing was the new guns that they added, the AUG, FAMAS, AK-12, and 870 shotgun. I do not know if the VSS is new or not. I don't really remember, and I never really used it. That being said, if it is new, then great. If it's old, then I'll probably mess with it later on. I don't really have a bunch of attachments, and after I had a shit ton of different barrels, receivers, and all the gun parts inside my inventory get cleaned out due to the new update, I got to go back and find them all so I can make all the guns and try them out later. The other thing is that they have pirates. This was another island that had like a hideout, and they're underneath like a big kind of like hangar. This was a smaller island next to yours, and you could just clear them out, get some stuff from them. Mostly sticks, maybe 1 gun, and some grenades that they throw on you, which is crew grenades. They also had some other new locations, refined gun handling, which I don't know what that really means so much. Probably the fire rate and some of the other accuracies of DMRs, like the SVD and the M14. They rebalanced enemy difficulty. They also did the AI hitboxes and changed their improvement with the AI. Hides, flanks, charges, and throws grenades, which I always thought the throw grenade part was already in the game, but I guess that was a later on feature. The other thing you're seeing here is the MVGs. This is actually what they look like when you make them. When you go into the darker areas, it becomes actually brighter and more easier to see stuff. So if you're looking for items on the ground, maybe some loot bags, you can see them more clearly. And it kind of reminds me of the ground branch night vision goggles, not the white phosphorus, but the green ones, and, you know, how they kind of work out. The other thing is that they were talking about fixing multiple bugs, general frame rate optimization, and then being able to deal with polished late game experience, meaning that you have to deal with a lot of these other factions that are more difficult to deal with, heavy armor, heavy weapons, different positions, and also where they're currently on the map. In closing, before the video ends, I personally feel that Sunkenland is going in a better direction. I didn't like the idea that they were abandoning the generator in order to make a power grid, but instead of getting rid of the power grid, they could keep it and then use it to gain more power that way, making it more like an advancement for the electricity system to work. They also did the changes to the AI, which I do like quite a bit, being able to deal with flanking enemies, grenading enemies, or even enemies that charge at me. I mean, it has happened many times in live and beta that they do charge you, but it's also nice to see when they change it up, do flanking maneuvers, throw grenades at you, charge sometimes with like armor and heavy weapons, and then being able to like defend through suppression from a hilltop or inside of a tower. Regardless, the beta has been pretty fun, and I've been liking some of the new factions that they added into the game, like Pirates and the Oceania Republic that I'm currently fighting now. The higher the level, the more difficult it is to deal with them, because they have higher weapons and higher armor. That being said, I've been one-nut punched, and this has been another video. Like I said, this week will be Breachway, the September 26th, and that's the space card game I'm waiting for, and maybe some other things. But otherwise than that, I'll let you guys see the moon, and yeah, I'll see you later.